name's Kleiber. I'm a grain farmer, so grain farmer is my day job. The ideas that we're doing here have to be economical. We're not growing a cover crop just to grow a cover crop. We're trying to grow corn and soybeans very efficiently. This particular field we're in now has been no-till about 5 years. Last year it had very, very spotty, very yellow soybeans. We didn't know if we had a compaction issue going on. Was it just the environment? We were getting a load of diseases in the soil. But so in this field, what we did, and we replicated it, we have a low disturbance ripper down to about 14 inches and a cover crop. We have 100% no-till, and we have no-till with the cover crop with the ripper. As I walk through it now, we've done some digs we're gonna look at. I don't see much difference. I can find a difference with the compaction probe. The ground is over the ripper points is much softer. It planted much softer. I kept the down pressure on the planter consistent through the whole field. It all planted very nice. The ripped area was definitely softer. The cover crop area was probably a little bit drier than where there was no cover crop. Then the cover crop was winter wheat, and that was planted middle of October with a grain drill. And it only got to be, I planted green, maybe it was 8 inches tall this spring. And we terminated it about a week after planting.
One theme there I want to keep bringing up today. He said he had about 8 inches of wheat, and it's really hard to see, where that residue is. What that really tells me, looking at it, is that as we build this soil biology, the soil's hungry. This biology is hungry. It consumes biomass just amazing.
What it looked like in the fall, right after we did the no-till low disturbance ripper, all you see is lines. There's a few chunks here and there. On the ends, if you notice when you leave, like in that corner, there's a big hole. That's what happens when you lift it up without moving. Because when you're in the tractor watching the machine work, the whole profile of the soil looks like it's slightly being lifted and dropped. And when they lifted the machine without moving, it just lifted up the whole chunk of soil. And there's a hole when you walk in, and I left it there just kind of show what it does. The planting into it really wasn't a problem. I didn't need to do any spring tillage. Over winter, it just kind of mellowed out and relatively smooth, and we have a hard time. Where the pit is, one side is ripped and the other side isn't, and you have a hard time with the soil profile and the amount of residue even telling where it was ripped and where it wasn't.
So that's kind of an interesting message here. I think we all, as we transition to no-till, think about, is this going to make my soil tighter over the years, or what's going to happen? And last fall was really ideal for that kind of subsoiling. It, like you said, you can just see the whole profile come up and lay back down. Didn't really do a whole lot of tillage, but it really did a lot of lifting. And then at this point, that we're not seeing differences between full subsoil and with what a cover crop, tells us that maybe we don't need that tillage. Maybe as we build that soil health, the soil is plenty loose, and we really don't need to be doing that subsoiling. On the other hand, if you're going to go into no-tilling and you know you have a compaction problem, that needs to be taken care of before you start.
We have each of the plots labeled with signs, which we're going to leave out until you can't see them through the corn anymore. Please feel free to stop by the fields and check out how the plots look as the season progresses. Check the video description for the location of the field.